Today we're talking about Monster Fantasy. After watching this trailer, I think this is one of those games that can catch a lot of people by surprise. It looks like a colorful fantasy adventure with cute characters, but then you see the giant monsters, the open world, the combat, the village life, and suddenly the idea becomes much more interesting. The easiest way to explain it is this. Imagine the thrill of hunting big creatures like in Monster Hunter, but mixed with the calm and cozy feeling of building a home, talking to villagers, fishing, crafting, and living in a peaceful place like Animal Crossing. That combination is what makes Monster Fantasy stand out right away. What I like most is that Monster Fantasy seems to give players two very different sides of the same adventure. If you want action, you can go out into the world, hunt massive creatures, search for better weapons, upgrade your gear, or explore dangerous areas. But if you want something slower and more relaxing, you can return to your village, build your home, decorate, gather materials, talk to villagers, cook, fish, and just enjoy the world at your own pace. That balance is what makes the game interesting to me. It looks like you can chase big monsters when you want excitement, but also come back to a peaceful place when you want to slow things down. That is a very smart idea, because not every player wants to be in combat every second. Sometimes you want the intense fight, sometimes you want to prepare for the next fight, and sometimes you just want to stay in the village, upgrade your place, interact with NPCs, and enjoy the cozy side of the game. If Monster Fantasy can balance those two parts well, it could become the kind of game that people play for a very long time, not only because of the combat, but because the world feels comfortable to return to. I don't know why, but I have this feeling when I return to Crimson Desert. The monster hunting side also looks important. From what has been shown and described so far, the game has large creatures, open areas, different biomes, and several combat classes. You can fight as a warrior, swordsman, archer, or mage, and I think the mage class is one of the more interesting parts because it gives the game a different flavor from a normal hunting game. Usually when people think about this type of combat, they think about swords, bows, heavy weapons, and physical attacks, but having magic in the mix makes the fantasy side feel much stronger. The world itself is also very different, similar again to Crimson Desert. We have forests, deserts, snowy areas, and large open spaces where these monsters can live and move around. That matters a lot for a game like this, because if you are going to spend hours exploring, hunting, collecting, and building, the world needs to feel worth staying in. It cannot just be empty land with monsters placed around randomly. It needs to feel alive. And from the trailer, Monster Fantasy seems to be going for that feeling of a big, colorful fantasy world where you can always find something to do. Another thing that I like is the visual style. The monsters and the world look more detailed and realistic, while the human characters have a much cuter and more stylized look. That contrast might not be for everyone, but I actually think it helps the game feel different. It gives Monster Fantasy its own identity. The monsters feel big and dangerous, but the villagers and characters give the game that softer, cozy feeling. That mix is probably going to be one of the things people notice first when they see the trailer. The village side could be just as important as the combat. When you are not out hunting monsters, the game gives you a place to return to, build, and improve over time. You can gather materials, craft useful items, cook, forge weapons, talk to villagers, and slowly make the village feel more like your own home. That is the kind of feature that can make the game feel much more personal, because you are not just waiting for the next big battle, you are also preparing for it, upgrading your place, helping the village grow, and creating a small world that feels worth coming back to. If this part is done well, it could become very addictive because every little upgrade gives you another reason to keep playing. I also like that the game seems to have a lot of small activities. Fishing, mining, making useful potions, crafting, and gathering might sound simple by themselves, but together they can make the world feel much more complete. These are the kinds of things that make a game relaxing between big moments. After a difficult monster fight, it can feel nice to slow down, collect resources, upgrade gear, talk to villagers, or just prepare for the next adventure. Another interesting part is the monster taming. From what has been shared so far, players can catch and train monsters, which makes the creatures feel like more than just enemies. You can fight them, capture them, and possibly use them in different ways. So some monsters could become part of your journey instead of just another battle. For me, the big question is how well the game can balance everything. Monster hunting, village life, crafting, exploration, monster training, and story are a lot of systems for one game. If they all work together, Monster Fantasy could could become something special, but even from the trailer and early details, the idea already has a lot of potential. If the final game delivers on that mix, Monster Fantasy could become one of the more interesting games coming soon. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.